So that shiny new game just came out, God of War Ragnarok PC, and you want to know if it's worth your time, right? Well, let's take a look at the game first and first impressions. Keep in mind this is not a full review, this is a quick look at the game. I played the game for about 2.5 hours, so I'll show some footage of the game while describing it and giving a few thoughts on it. First, let's talk about the performance. I have a 3080 Ti and I'm playing on 1440p with DLSS on quality. I also have the in-game FPS limiter at 120. In the snowy area of the game, I was getting 120 FPS at max settings, right at the limiter I had set. However, once you travel realms, the in-between area really lowered my FPS, as did the realm of the dwarves. I had to lower the shadows as well as the models in order to get that 120 FPS back. Secondly, you need a PSN account to even play the game, even though it's an offline game. I find that strange, and I had to spend some time finding the account I made for PlayStation a couple of years ago. In the menu, there's an option for a small and quick recap of the first game, and I'll go over that really quickly. In the first game, Kratos and his son Atreus kill Baldur, Freya's son, and then Freya was really upset about it, even though Baldur was literally about to kill her. Freya is a powerful witch. Then Atreus finds out from both Kratos and the giants that he's a god. The giants are long gone, but through their old paintings on the wall, they had foreseen him. Atreus finds out he's a god, and also that he's a giant, and that his mother was also a giant. One last thing, the giants also had a name for him, Loki, even though his name is Atreus. Also in the menu is something called Valhalla, but it said it's best to play that after you complete the game first, so I moved on to the game. You have an option of 5 difficulties, and I chose the middle one, balance, as that was the default one. You play as Kratos and you're with his son Atreus. It's wintertime and there's snow everywhere, and you both are on a sled navigating the forest. That's when Freya, the witch from the first game, starts attacking you. She was pretty nice in the first game, so seeing her so rabid is kind of weird. Her son Baldur dying really did a number on her. Based on the dialogue, I'm under the impression that she's been attacking them for quite some time, off and on. So they fight her and then they get to their camp. In the camp they have pet wolves and one of them is dying. Atreus goes to bury it and Kratos goes into their cabin to sleep. In here is also Mimir, the companion head that they had from the first game. I guess he's sticking around for this one too. When Kratos wakes up after a nightmare, he finds Atreus is still not back, so he sets off to find him. And on the way he's attacked by a lot of raiders. I fought raiders all throughout the snowy part of this game. You have a light and heavy attack, dodge, and you can block with your shield, and you can throw your weapons and call it back. If you hold down a button, you can charge up the axe with ice magic, and then the next attack will be a bigger one. There's also finishing moves that you can do sometimes. Later on, I unlocked runic magic too. That adds a light and heavy attack to your weapon as well. Also later on, you'll be able to use the dual swords, so you can change back and forth between the swords and the axe. The swords have a fire aspect to them, and the axe an ice aspect. One or the other will be needed sometimes. Lastly, you have the fury mode, which is a red bar below your health. Once that's full, you can use your fists and do big damage until the bar runs out, and then you have to wait for that to recharge in order to use that again. You'll find green glowing health stones that you can pick up to get your health back, and also there's various kinds of chests in the world that you can find. They'll give you either hack silver or crafting materials. You can use both of those items to buy or upgrade your weapons and armor. That comes a little later on though. His son Atreus is a young god, and not all of his powers are discovered yet. Kratos was fighting a giant bear, and then the bear transformed into a son at the end. So that means either Atreus can turn into a bear specifically, or that he has transformation magic in general. I don't know yet, I'm still in the beginning of this game. So Kratos finds him as a bear, and then they go back to their house, and lightning appears everywhere. Thor had appeared. He comes in and talks, and so does Odin, Thor's father. They're both upset because Kratos had killed several of Thor's sons, one of which was Baldur. Baldur specifically was useful to them, not the others. Odin offers a deal, Kratos rejects it, and then he and Thor fights. During the battle, there was a pretty cool scene where his axe and Thor's hammer were in a stalemate against one another midair. I thought that was pretty cinematic. After fighting for a while, Thor leaves, and then Kratos gets back to his house to find Odin gone and Atreus just fine. You are now able to start customizing your armor after fighting Thor. You'll be able to upgrade Atreus' armor as well, and also in this menu is your skills. Skills for the axe, the swords, and also for Atreus. They cost XP to purchase, and also your weapons need to be a certain level for some of the skills. Atreus wants to show Kratos something that he found, which is evidence that Tyr is still alive and is being held prisoner by Odin in the Dwarven realm, and that there's a prophecy showing Tyr leading an army against Odin. So now they're off to the Dwarven realm in search of Tyr. It's a warmer climate there, and there's no snow. There's different enemies to fight as well. I got off while in this beginning area of the Dwarven realm, as I had been on the game for 2.5 hours at that point. Throughout the game, there's some light puzzles that you need to do in order to get to the next area, but they're not that hard to do. Also, the map is pretty linear, albeit with some side paths here and there with chests to find. This is my first time playing this game, as I don't have a PlayStation, and I think this is a good game, much like the first game was. The graphics look good. This game also seems more bloody than the first one, if I'm remembering correctly, which I like. It adds to the whole God of War atmosphere. The game ran flawlessly on my PC. It was nice and smooth and I had no issues. This is a good story-driven experience. If you've never played God God of War or don't have a PlayStation, then this is an easy game to recommend if you're looking for more single player games to play. Though that's my personal opinion. Whether or not this is your type of game, I'll see you on the next one.